Hi girls. I thought I would do a short video to show you how to do your Stamp-A-Stack class, takeout style, rather than make project sheets and blah, blah, blah. I feel like this is probably going to be quicker and easier. I mean, you can see a picture of these cards and you know how to make them anyway. So this one features the gatefold, and you're going to have the supplies to make 2 navy and 1 mellow moss. This one features the gnome for the holidays. So cute. This guy's got a little red nose because he's been into the eggnog. This one features in the pine set, and it's the sample right out of the catalog. I love this one. This one is what's this one called? Going Home, I think? No. Yeah, Coming Home. Going Home. Can you tell I've been on the road? This one is the Snowflake. Snow Much. I forget what the dies are called, but you're going to be very familiar with that because it's part of the goodie bag for the crop. And then, of course, the poinsettia. So you have the supplies to make 3 each of these 18 cards with envelopes. So let's get started. I'm going to start with the In the Pines. So the ink pads that you'll need for this, very, very simple. You will need soft suede. Here's a stamp set that we're using. Soft suede, and I think I used Old Olive for the trees. So if you have the framelits, you can cut out the trees. And if you don't, then you can fussy cut. Goes pretty fast. And we're also using these gold hoops. They're so pretty. And I'm going to show you how to use them. So first off, we're going to stamp the trees with Old Olive. And I've got my handy dandy mat. So at first I was stamping the solid image off on scrap, but I found that the way it's designed, you don't really have to. So the outline first, and then, excuse my head, although that is pretty dark. Let's try it the other way. So I guess it just depends on the look that you want, huh? So stamp the outline. Let's stamp off and then inside. Yeah, that does look kind of a little bit better. And I know everybody loves the chamois, and the chamois is great if you're on the road, but I still like my scrub, and it has a happy smell too, so that helps. So I'm just gonna do one. Obviously you don't need to see me sitting here cranking out 3. So you would stamp that 3 times and then just trim it out with your snips. Or if you have the die, you can framelit it out. So through the magic of television, we have that. So I'm gonna do my background. This stamp set has Season's Greetings as well as Thinking of You. And if you don't have this stamp set, you can use any Merry Christmas or anything that you want to make a background. And you can use your Stamparatus, or you can just freehand it. And on mine, I just freehanded it. So I thought the most important thing was at the top, not to put it upside down. Excuse me. And then put it at the bottom, and then kind of in between. So you want to stamp off just to make it look a little bit more organic. And of course, it doesn't have to be perfect. If you want it perfect, you would use the Stamparatus because it would be perfectly, oh, it's a little squishy. That's okay. All right, so I made a background. Just gonna clean this. So there's been a lot of questions about how do you stick these gold rings on. So I'm gonna show you. I found the glue dots work the best. So I'm gonna put it there, I think. And then, so I think everybody just got kind of a big piece of this suede trim in their kit. And then just, you know, cut it into 3. So I'm using my glue dots from my paper pumpkin kits because I don't know about you, but I have a million of these things. They're great for traveling because it's not so bulky, but it's easy to lose them too. All right, so I'm putting 3 glue dots on there. I'm gonna pick the backs off and then just kind of roll them so that they don't show. And these little things are so sticky. If you ever get them under your nail, you know that they are sticky little suckers. All right, so I'm gonna put this right here. Okay, and then I think I'll stick another one like that. I'm not making this look very easy, am I? There we go. And then I'm gonna put one under this end as well, just to anchor it down. Okay, and then, oh, I don't have any of my little acorns handy. Okay, so I'm gonna use some dimensionals to stick my trees down. That, through the magic of television, got cut out with the new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, which I just opened a couple days ago, and I'm loving it. All right, so now I'm gonna have to come back to this, or do I have any in here? No, of course I don't. Well, when I come across them, we'll come back and we'll stick that little bell or little acorn down. So what I basically did was I took the gold thread and just tied a knot through the little loop, and then I glue dotted it down. I glue dotted it under the acorn and underneath the knot, so it won't go anywhere because it is a little bit heavy. I'm using the new Stampin' Seal. So when you use this, just get it started with your thumb, and then you're just gonna kind of not check mark it like the fast fuse, but just kind of give it a little twing and it'll break right off. And then stick this down and voila. Isn't it cute? It's cute even without the acorn, but we'll come back and put the acorn on it after. So that is the In the Pines card. I have everything ready to go for the crop in here, except for the acorns, which I'm gonna have to add. And the glue dots and the stamps. So I will set this over here. All right, so there we go, one down. Next card we're gonna work on is, how about the poinsettia with the Merry Christmas? So I have run the card front through the oh, I'm so bad with names. It's like the Old World map. It's from the Global Suite. So I ran it through just to give it some texture. And then we're using the Poinsettia Place DSP to go with the card. So I'm gonna stick these down. So you'll notice in your package, there's like a great big honkin' piece of DSP with some poinsettias partially cut out. So we're gonna fussy cut the flower. So you should have a piece large enough that has 3 full flowers and some greenery, some sprigs. And some people don't want sprigs, and that's fine. So we're gonna cut the flowers out. In the meantime, I'm using, you know what, I made this card and then I realized that we can't get this anymore. And I have like 5 spools of it because I love it so much. It coordinated well with the tropical items from the last catalog. So I stocked up, of course. So you just basically want to fray it just to give it some texture and some interest. And the nice thing about the Stampin' Seal, it is sticky. So it'll stick this down quite well. I mean, we're going to reinforce it a bit with some dimensionals, but this puppy will not go anywhere. All right. So there we go. Now, again, I don't want to like do some fussy cutting on video because it never turns out when you're being recorded, but also you guys don't want to sit here and listen to me drone on and on. So I fussy cut a flower out and then a little sprig. So if you notice, this was on the edge of my designer series paper, but I don't want to like just huck it out. So I'm going to make it work. I'm going to cover it somehow with my Merry Christmas, and I'm going to make it work. So let's see. So if we're going to cover that with the Merry Christmas, we're going to put it up high and maybe stick this out the bottom. So every card is going to be a little bit different depending on your flower that you have, right? Oh, come on. Keep going. There we go. So stick that out. Now I'm going to use some dimensionals on that, and I'm also going to stamp my Merry Christmas with Garden Green. So you can do season's greetings. You can do whatever greeting that you have handy if you don't have the poinsettia petals. So here's the stamp set, and then I put my framelits for this one in here just because I had it when I was traveling. I took it with me, and it's just easier to keep track of. So I'm using the Merry Christmas out of here. It fits perfectly on my scraps. So ta-da! Joanne would be so proud of me. I'm cleaning my stamps as I go. She always gets mad at me because I'm like, oh, I'll clean it later. And then, you know how that goes. Later never comes until you go to dip it in yellow and you have green ink on it. Ask me how I know that. All right, so I am sticking down my poinsettia. And there's my edge that I want to cover up. So I'll stick it up a little bit high. And then, I think right there, huh? Yeah. Okay, so let's do this. Usually I would put the dimensional on the greeting, but because this is a little bit delicate, I'm gonna do that. And I wanted it higher, didn't I? Oh boys. Okay, no, I think we're gonna leave it there. Somebody's gonna get hurt if we... That works. So again, with the Stampin' Seal, I find it easier if I hold it straighter up, you know, than, like, I guess it'll work, but I don't know. Right, so just a little flick and it comes right off. And this stuff is so, like, sticky. It's awesome. It's good. It's good stuff. All right, so we're gonna stick this down. Voila. And again, what did I do with my glue dots? Well, I'll use these ones. These are so pretty. They are called beaded pearls. I don't know what I was calling them. Pearl beads. Come on, you can do it. I'm gonna put 2 on this because it is a little bit heavier. Stick it right there. So I think here's the difference between the two. I think as beautiful as these gems are, I feel like it kind of competes with the beaded pearls. So I'm going to leave it off of this card. You ladies do whatever floats your boat. But there's card number 2. So 2 out of 6 done. I love that one. It's so pretty. All right. So this one is the Coming Home card, which has a little bit of coloring. So if you have blends, you want to get your blends out, we're going to use the Memento Black ink and we're going to use the Misty Moonlight as well. So on the sample, I had the stitched circle, but what I found was doing a whole bunch of Make and Take packages, the punch worked so much better. So, so I opted to punch with the 2 1/4 inch circle punch. And we're gonna use the twine from one of the ribbon packs in the main book. And I'm so sorry, I don't know what it is offhand. I have like every blend out, I think, in this basket. Just because you never know, I guess, huh? So, we are going to, this card is a long card. However, rather than cut more cards, I'm going to use what I have here. So excuse the noise. Sorry about that. I have a bag of spares. So we use the designer series paper for most of this card, like for the blue snowflake, but there's also some packages that have a red polka dot piece from the same package. I have this in color 6x6 designer paper, and some of that's in there. Kind of just, you know, played around with it, tried different things. So what you're gonna do is bring this down a little bit and cut them together. And you can cut up a little bit from the center, and then you have a point to cut from both corners, if that makes sense. We're making a banner. So then when you pull it up, you know, and even if it's not totally asymmetrical, they'll match. So it's a trick for the eye. It looks like, you know, they're both equally crooked, so it's all good. Plus it's handmade, so. All right, so there's my banner, and then I have my circle, and you can pop that up with dimensionals if you want. I'm just gonna put it right on there. Now, we're gonna stamp, use some scraps, and stamp the houses with the black memento. And you wanna use black memento because it's not gonna interact negatively with the blends. So this set actually has framelets. I did not get the framelets. So I am old schooling it. Because you know what? There's lots of straight lines. I thought, oh, I can fussy cut that. And I know some of you just despise fussy cutting. And so don't get mad at me, okay? You have lots of time to do this. There's no rush. Do you have enough ink on that? Perfect. Before I forget, I am going to clean my stamps. My printer is making funny noises. All right, so get those out of the way. So I'm gonna color. First thing I'm gonna do is put some light in the windows. And for this, I am using light daffodil, but you know, crushed curry would work. Any yellow. I mean, it doesn't have to be yellow either. It's your card. You can do whatever you want. I really wanted to do the doors hot pink. In fact, the Magenta Madness, the new in color, I did do them. And then I added these little gems and I'm like, ooh, that's clashy. So I'm gonna take those away because we don't need to be clashing more than we sometimes already do, in my case. Coloring, you know, some people color so beautifully. I color to get her done. So I wouldn't say I'm a talented colorer by any means. And this whole blendy thing, it doesn't happen for me automatically. I'm just going to blend it a bit to give it some interest. Make a trunk. I hope you guys are coloring with me and you're not like sitting there watching me, because it's making me nervous just thinking about it. Let's do this roof dark. This one is the Misty Moonlight. I love that the colors all match, because my goodness, it makes it look nice even when you have no talent, you know? And I think this is supposed to be a window too. It is now anyway. All right, let's do a light blue house for the little one. I love this blue. This is Seaside Spray. I should be telling you this, huh? So if you have all the blends, you'll... So this one is Seaside Spray, the dark. And then I'm going to use the light Misty Moonlight on the bigger house. And my friend Marcia says you're supposed to go in circles. So I'll try to remember that. Although one of the things I love about blends is there's no lines. You know, like when you color with regular markers, there's lines. But this saturates it so well and blends it. I guess that's why they're called blendies, huh? Oh, see, my coloring is just... Maybe I need to use this set and slow down, slow my roll. All right, so I'm gonna put a little bit of dark on this corner. And on the bottom. And then you go back with the light and just swirl it in there and it blends it. In theory, if it's not. Yeah, it looks a little wonky. That's okay. Half of it's covered up anyway. So this is where I'm going to pull in the real red. Light real red and dark real red to match the glimmer dots that you get in your package, in your make and take, or in your Stamp-A-Stack kit. I always like to give an embellishment, whether it's ribbon or enamel dots, just because sometimes we don't even see them in the catalog, you know? And then you're like, oh, these are so cute. So, incorporating a little bit of the real red in. Don't look too closely. So I have all these blends. Can you see them? I hope that they're in the shot. That's a little crazy. You don't need all of these. Just, you know, it's good to have options, I guess. So I'm going to throw... Oh, and the one thing through the magic of television, I stamped the warm wishes from our home to yours. Kinda like, sorta. So I'm going to make a pennant, like a banner on that, just with my snips. Now we have a banner punch, but I'll be honest, I'm more of a yep, that looks great kind of gal, rather than get the punch out. I know I have the tools, I should use them sometimes. So I'm just going to trim this out, leaving a little bit of white around. Again, if you have the framelits, go ahead and cut it out with your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, which I am loving. So I'm packing up to go to the crop, and I have 4 of those machines, and guess what? They take up as much room as like 1.5 of the old style Big Shots, so I'm loving that. Although during this pandemic, we're not all going to be sharing the Big Shot. Not like pre-pandemic days, so everything is going to be sanitized and distanced and masked, and it's going to be interesting. I'm just hoping that I went to a crop when the pandemic started, and it was eerily scary. I mean, granted, everything was so brand new, we didn't really know, but I'm hoping this is going to be a getaway. We'll see. All right. So there are my little pieces, and I'm going to pop everything completely up. So let's go ahead and dimensionalize it all up. So the tree, actually, there is a method to my madness here. The tree is going to be peeking out from here. So let's move this dimensional over. Of course, the only dimensional I put down is wrong. Let's do that. And stick that tree out, and then we'll dimensionalize it. And I'm going to put lots of dimensionals, because one of the things the dimensionals are going to do is they are going to hold this ribbon, twine, what would you call it, thread. They're going to hold it down. So I want lots of sticky to be happening here. Let's put another one on this tree. This lonely little tree. Yeah, so stick it down and just kind of loop it around a couple of times. I want to go down there. And you know what? I am going to trim it because I cut it a little short. So let's loop it around there. And let's make one more loop right here. I think that's cute. Yeah. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna stick this down right here. And then the little house kind of in front. Right like that. The warm wishes, you can pop it up or stick it directly down. I'm gonna stick it directly down. It's so cute. And again, this Stampin' Seal is so sticky. I'm putting, quite a bit because this little guy is a bit heavy. And voila! there we go. These are the wonderful gems that you get in your kit. And I am going to stick a couple on here. They're so, I love this red. There we go. They finish it off quite well, don't they? So we'll put everything back in the basket. And we'll go to the next card. That's 3 cards.